Hey guys, and welcome back. So today what I'm doing is we are going to be canning some cucumbers, and I found a really easy recipe, and I've been looking for a really great recipe for a long time. I've tried so many different recipes, and I think I've finally found a really good one. So first things that what we need to do is kind of gather the things that we're going to need. That's jars, lids, rings. We're gonna need our vinegar, our dill, our mustard seed, salt, and we're gonna pre-prep our pickles. So first thing you wanna do is prep your pickles. And how we're gonna do that is, hold on one second and I'll be right back. Okay guys, to prep your pickles, what you're gonna wanna do is find out all the pickles that you wanna use. Now I have some big ones in here that I'm gonna actually slice in half and then we're gonna spear. Now I also have some smaller ones that we're gonna try and can whole. And then I have some really small ones that we're just going to do whole in the jar. And I'm going to be using pint jars because I like them the best. So first thing you want to do is you want to cut your blossom end. Now this is the vine end, and I hope you guys can see this. This is the vine end, and I left it on there so that you guys can see. This is the vine end, and the blossom end, we want to trim those off because the enzymes from the blossoms tend to turn your pickles differently. So we want to cut that off and prep every single one of these. Now if you have a really soft spot in your pickles, go ahead and cut those off too. We don't want to use any really soft pickles. You want to make sure your pickles are, well, cucumbers, they're not actually pickles yet, but I always say that. So if I misspeak, guys, this is how I always talk. So we want to make sure that we have our pickles clean, and then in our soaking water, we want to soak our cucumbers. We're going to put 1 quart of warm water with 3/4 cup salt. You want to mix that in until it's dissolved, and then you want to add your cold water. We don't want to put our cucumbers in warm water because then they start to shrink, and we definitely don't want that. So we want all our salt dissolved first, and then you want to add your cold water. Now I also put some ice in here because I like my pickles to stay crisp. So that's what we do. And then what we do is we put a plate on top to keep those cucumbers all underneath the water, okay? And then we're gonna sit this aside between, I mean, you can let them soak up to 2 days, but I like to do just maybe 3 or 4 hours, and then we're gonna start our canning. Okay guys, so the next thing that we're gonna do while our pickles are soaking in the prep brine, we're gonna make the actual pickling brine. So first thing I already kind of did some of this pre-work. So I have 8 cups of water in here, and then what we want to do is put 6 cups of vinegar. Now make sure it's the 5% acidity. It has to be the 5% acidity or they won't turn out right. Okay, so 8 cups of water, 6 cups of your 5% vinegar, and it has to be white. You can't use apple cider. Okay, and then 1/4 cup of sugar, and then 1/2 cup of pickling salt, or any kind of salt that you want. You can use Himalayan salt, you can use regular salt. And then the next thing you want to do is your 1 tablespoon of pickling spices. Now I don't like them in the dill mix because it's really, the pickling spice is really for the sweet pickles, and I just don't want that. So then the next thing that you can do in this brine is use a little bit of dill, and we're also going to put a little bit of dill in each jar. And then you just really just want to kind of take a pinch of it and just kind of tear it up with your fingers. Okay, and then we're going to put this on the stove, and we want to bring this slowly up to a boil. Okay, so we'll come back. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is get our jars ready. So after you wash them in hot water, Make sure you get all the soap out and everything. So the next thing we're going to do is prep. So first thing we want to do is put garlic in the bottom of each jar. Now you can use more, less, or whatever. Usually you want to use one nice sized clove, hope you can see that, in each jar. If you like a lot of garlic and your family loves it, go ahead and put as much as you want in those jars. Don't worry about it, you know, it's not going to hurt anything. It just adds more flavor. So garlic, make sure we got enough in each one. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do mustard seed and dill, and you want to put 1 teaspoon in every single jar as well. If you don't like a lot of mustard seed, then just do half. That's fine too. And this is kind of small, but we're going to wing it here. Tap a little bit, and more or less, whether your family, what your family likes, really. So we're just going to put 1 teaspoon, or about a teaspoon. You don't have to do a full teaspoon, because these are really going to taste so good, guys. All right, each jar. And now I also have fresh dill, which I love to use. So we're going to use our fresh dill first. And if we run out, that's kind of why I bought the extra. Okay, so we just want to tear these off and put kind of like a, oh, let me show you, about a pinch, so actually like 2 pinches of your dill. You can use fresh, you can use dehydrated. It really doesn't matter, as long as we get those flavors inside the jar, guys. Oh man, this smells so good. I mean, it just really floods your kitchen. And we can put stalks in there. Use the whole part, guys. Don't be afraid. Okay, so then after that, hold on, we'll come back. Okay guys, so the next thing we do is we prep our jars. So we want to make sure that we fill the jar. I mean, you don't want to pack it so you're actually smashing your cucumbers, but you want to fit them in there nicely. You can see I sliced some, and you will have air pockets, guys, because I mean, it's not, you're never going to get a perfect jar. So next thing we do is we fill these, and you want to slice as you go. And I actually started some of these so that they would be done, but you can see you want to space them in there. And I have a bunch that I already kind of filled, but I will do this so that you guys can see what I'm doing. All right, so we take our pickles. Now some of them are smaller and some are bigger. So in order for them to fit in these jars, we may have to trim some off, and that's okay, because then you can just add the pieces to another jar. No big deal, guys. It's not a perfect science, and you know, you want your jars to look like they're homemade. So you see that's too big. So we go back and we're just going to trim some of these off, and you take the pieces and just put them in another jar, because we don't want to waste them. All those pieces will not go to waste. We'll just put them in another jar. And you see that? So between a 1/2 and a 1/4 head space, take your pieces, put them in another jar. Like I have rounds in there, I have little pieces, and then you just want to kind of pack them. If you find some air holes, just push them down, no big deal. Okay? And then we're gonna go to a next pickle here, and just slice as you go. You just want to, now you can 1/4 them, so like a whole pickle you'll get 4 pieces, or you can go thinner if you like them thinner. Doesn't matter. I just like the 4, because then they kind of, you can kind of see how they fit in the jar that way. And it's a lot easier to pack too. So I know this one was going to be too big, so I cut the top of it off already. And then we're just gonna take this jar and just keep shoving them in there until they fit, really. And then, see, I mean, it actually fits a lot in there, so don't be afraid to pack them. Pack them in there, as many as you can get. Just keep slicing as you go, and we're gonna pack them in there. I just can't believe that dill smells so good, guys. I mean, it smells up the whole kitchen. It smells absolutely wonderful. All right, should get that one in there. And I'm on my last jar, and I'm trying to find the perfect pickles. These are, let me show you. When you say perfect pickle, look at this jar to pickle ratio. It's perfect. They fit in there. Perfect. So you usually want a pickling variety of cucumber when you're actually growing and planting for the season. But if you have just regular salad pickles or cucumbers that you grow to, don't worry about it. You can can them all. They don't just have to be made just for pickling pickles. Don't let people tell you that it has to be a certain type of pickle, because it doesn't. And these were just a little bit too big, so I'm cutting the tops off. And we're just going to shove it in that other jar. See, there you go. So then you have better headspace for your brine, which is on the stove right now. And we're going to shove a couple more in there. Trim the top. I think I can get one more in there. There we go. Yep. Okay, guys. So now I do have, I'm going to actually pickle some zucchini, which it turns out great, guys. You have no idea. And it tastes exactly like cucumber. You don't have to worry about it tasting like, ew, pickled zucchini. Because zucchini will take on any flavor that you put with this. So yeah, don't worry about it. All right. And then I have a little bit of extra headspace in this guy, and I have a huge hole, so I'm just going to shove some of these other ones down in there and fill that space, hopefully. Maybe. I don't know. Get it in there. There we go. Just to fill that little hole. Yeah. There we go. Fill it up. That's what we do. Fill them up. You can put rounds with spears, guys. Don't worry about it. There we go. So we filled that hole with some rounds. And now we are good to go on that. We're going to check our pickling brine. And it's not quite up to boil yet, so we'll come back. Okay guys, so now that we have our pickling brine, it's boiling, it's ready, it's done. We're gonna fill our jars. So you wanna take your ladle and your funnel here and just start filling the jars until you reach about a 1/2 inch headspace, and you can do less, so don't worry about it. If you don't fill them to exactly a 1/2 inch headspace, don't worry about it, because they're still going to turn out and they're still going to be yummy. Okay, so we're just filling these. It smells good. And it smells kind of vinegary, but and this recipe actually makes the best crispy pickles. You don't have to use the crisper from the canning section, you know, the little white pellets. This will do it all by itself. I mean, and trust me, I've been using a lot of different recipes, and trying to find the right one is quite the battle. It's either too salty or too vinegary, not really pickled, just kind of and your pickles get all mushy. Yeah, it's not really fun. All right. So our canning water is boiling. We want to bring it up to a really slow boil. We don't want to bring it all the way up to temperature. Oh, that one went way full, way too fast. So our canning water, we want it to be just starting to kind of simmer. So when we put these jars in there, it's not going to be way too hot for the jars. Alright, so that other one I'm probably going to have to take a little bit out or shake it. Get some air bubbles out. Nope, it's still too full. Alright, so I'm going to get a spoon and we're just going to take some of that liquid out and put it in this other jar next door, because we don't want them to be, actually that's a little bit too, I don't know if you guys can see that, but see how it's over the top of the jar? Yeah, we can't have that. So I gotta trim that one off a little bit and we'll stick it over in something else. I did not notice that earlier. So we've got this other one here too. There we go. Okay, so that should be good. And next thing you want to do is you can get the air bubbles out. You can use a flat knife, you can tap them, whatever, just to get some air bubbles out. That one we need to fill yet. And once you get the air bubbles out, and if you're finding that your water level went way too low, just put a little bit more and kind of top it off. There we go. Okay, now we have all of them full. We're going to set this aside on the stove. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a rag, and I put some vinegar on this, and we're going to wipe the top of our jars off. The vinegar will actually take any kind of dirt that was on the very top rim of your jar, and you can kind of see there's a little bit of dirt on there. Because these were used as tomato jars. So if you're reusing jars, don't forget this very important step. You have to clean the rim, because we want the best seal that we can get. All right. Yeah, those were really dirty. Wow. It's amazing. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is put our lids on, and I actually put these in some hot water, so they are good to go. You just tap them on there. This is where it's starting to get fun, is once you know you can put your lids on, ooh, yeah, you know you're almost done with the whole process. All right, and I have 3 wide mouths, and then we have our rings to put on, and you just want to put these on, guys, hand tight. That's it. You don't want to over tighten, just hand tight. There's a pickle seed on that one. Okay. I'm going to put all these lids on just like that. Rings, lids. Okay. I can still smell the dill. Wow. So so excited to start getting these in there. Okay guys, so then our next step is to fill our stock pot. And I actually have a, let me take the lid off so you guys can see. So there's a wire basket in here, right here, see that? So that our cans will not touch the bottom, and you just start putting them in there just like that, guys. And now I don't think all of them will fit, but we're sure gonna try and put as many as we can in there, okay? Nope, I don't think they're all gonna fit. Okay, so I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So 9 will fit in this pot, and then basically we're just gonna lower it very slowly. Okay. Into our water. And we actually have the perfect amount of water in there. Let me show you. All right, so for our water, we want 1 inch to 2 inches covering the top of our lids. And we want our water to be about 100. It's a little hot. We want 180 to 185. So we are going to leave it on. It's actually 189, which will be perfect. So we're going to put our lid on, and then we're going to cook those for 30 minutes. That's it. 30 minutes on between 180 degrees and 185, and that's it. And then we're going to come back and take them out. Okay guys, so while our first batch is actually cooking, we are going to finish the rest of our pickles up. I washed some more jars, and we're going to go ahead and fill the rest of these and get everything that we have completed and put in jars for our second batch. All right, let's get these babies in there and set these pickles in there. I always say pickles, but they're not quite pickles yet, are they, guys? I don't know why. I've always said that, and I don't know. It's just a thing, I guess. All right, this one's kind of mushy up towards the top, so we're going to cut half of that out and just get rid of that. And we're going to use the bottom half. This is a really super good recipe, guys, because your cucumbers will be so crispy, and you won't even have to use any of that canning crisper to do it, which usually you have to put at least 1/4 teaspoon of the canning crisper for pickles and stuff. Otherwise they get really soft. But in this recipe you don't. So the secret is actually in the temperature at how you cook your pickles, well, your cucumbers. And the secret is the 180 degrees. And it doesn't matter what elevation you're in or at, it doesn't matter. It's all about the degrees and not the elevation like a regular canner, which is something that I love because I don't really have a canner. I have 2 canners that were given to me, but they need new rubber gaskets. So I actually haven't been able to use them, and the hot water bath is perfect. So if you don't have all the gadgets, guys, this recipe is for you. Oh, one was hiding. All right, I've got one more cucumber here. I'm gonna slice him up, put him in the jars. All right. I think he would fit in there. And probably this one. I got a hole that I need to fill in this jar. There we go, we got him in there. Okay, so the last thing that I have is my zucchini, and I'm gonna show you guys how to make spears out of this. So what I've done is I've already gutted the seeds out of it, right? And let me see if I can move this back so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. And I will turn this down just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we have our zucchini, right? And you want to cut it a little bit smaller than the jar, okay? Just like you do your cucumbers, right? And then take it and slice it down the side, right? Making spears as you go. See that? Okay. And you can slice them thick, thin, it doesn't matter. Okay, and then we're just going to orient them in the jar, just like we do regular cucumbers. So you guys want to know what to do with extra zucchini? Make pickles out of it. You can make relish out of it. You can make jellies out of zucchini, guys. I'm telling you, there are so many different recipes out there. And if you guys need a good, like, apple butter recipe, I have an awesome one in my portfolio that you use zucchini to make apple butter. All right, I'm gonna slice this guy up as well. So I have one jar already, and we're just gonna sit these in there. And Alicia loves it. The apple butter made from zucchini, don't you, Alicia?
Yep. You'd never know it was an actual apple.
Right. Guys, you can't even tell that it was actually zucchini. I'm serious. That's how good it is.
Same thing with your jam.
Yep. Yeah, I made peach jam and strawberry jam out of zucchini as well. It's really good. The only thing is that it kind of uses quite a bit of sugar, but you can always scale back the sugar depending on what your family likes. Like I keep saying, it's really all about how you like it, your preference. If you're trying to cut back on sugar, you can actually cut back on the sugar and it still turns out. It doesn't matter. If you like more cinnamon, you can use more cinnamon. If you like clove, you can put more clove in your apple butter or nutmeg, whatever. It doesn't matter, guys. Sky's the limit, really. And I keep saying that and keep saying that, and everybody's so afraid to make a mistake. So you make a mistake, who cares? It's not, you're not getting graded, and if it doesn't turn out, gardens are plentiful, and you can always retry it, guys. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Trust me, I make plenty canning mistakes, recipes they don't turn out or it tastes a little off, and that's why I keep trying and trying and trying. So, you know, just keep trying, guys. Who cares? It doesn't have to be perfect, right? Okay, so we have 3 jars of zucchini, which is absolutely awesome, and we're gonna go ahead and fill these with our brine because we have brine left, right? And I'm also gonna put some dill and mustard seed in these because I didn't do it ahead of time, which I probably should have before I filled them, but hey, it doesn't matter. We're doing it now. Okay, so we take our dill. And remember, 1 teaspoon, or if your family likes more dill and you really like the taste of dill, you can use 2 teaspoons, or just put dill. If you don't like the mustard seed, don't worry about it. Don't put it in. If you only, whoops, that was a lot. If you only want to use a little bit, just use a little bit. It doesn't matter. Okay, so we got our mustard and our dill in there. And then we're gonna put our brine in these jars and get these ready for our next batch. And let me bring it down here so you can see what I'm doing. these up. And then we're gonna get our air bubbles out. And then we're gonna put our lids and stuff on. Mem, you can hear him over there. I don't know what he's grumbling about. You never know, somebody took his bone or something. Who knows? Alright, I got 2 jars left. So I think this is going to be actually the perfect batch too. So it was 8 cups of water and 6 cups of our vinegar, which is almost enough for almost 18 jars, guys, to can. So let me straighten you guys out a little bit. There we go. Okay. And we're going to finish these 2 jars, which I don't have anything in there. Which I thought I already did, but I must not have. Again, dill. Dill's really good. And I don't have any garlic ready, so that's okay. We don't necessarily need the garlic. Alright guys, so I'm going to get the lids and stuff on there and then we'll come back. Okay guys, so we're all done. We had our 30 minutes. Ooh, that's hot. And we're going to scoot this over off the heat. And we're going to bring up our rack slowly here. Ooh. Okay. Now we're going to take these babies out. Oh, they look good. That garlic. I like to tip them just to get the water off the top. Wow, these look awesome. Alright guys, so for quick, crispy pickles, this is an awesome recipe. You've got to try it. We're going to put our next set in there, and that's it. Have fun, guys.